Raiders, we just received additional information regarding the third expedition in Ark Raiders, and personally, this is not great news. Embark has changed the entire progression system around expeditions, implementing a completely new method for earning additional skill points. And they announced this change just 10 days before the expedition window opens. I will first go through the expedition changes, and then, for those doing their first expedition, or those who do not yet know how the system works, I will explain what the expedition actually is after covering these changes. We will also look into what problems all of this is causing. So let us start with what has actually changed. During the first and second expeditions, skill points were tied to monetary value. If your stash reached a certain threshold, around 3 to 5 million depending on the expedition, you earned all 5 skill points. It was a passive, wealth-based system. You played the game, accumulated resources, and your stash value reflected that effort. For the third expedition, Embark has scrapped that entirely. Skill points will now be earned by dealing damage. Any damage against any target, whether that is Arks or other raiders, all of it counts. The damage threshold needs to be met within the 5-day expedition window, and catch-up points are still tied to stash value for players on their second or third expedition. This announcement came 10 days before the expedition window opens. The expedition cycle is nearly 60 days long. Players have been working towards this wipe for the better part of 2 months under one set of rules, and those rules changed with less than 2 weeks to go. There was no transition period, no warning during the second expedition that changes were coming. No hybrid system offering a middle ground, no test phase, no feedback loop, just a single announcement 10 days out, telling players that everything they had been building towards now works differently. Let us not forget that some people have plans and some people have lives. If a player has spent 50 days carefully building their stash value to hit the skill point threshold, and that threshold is now irrelevant, that player has every right to feel frustrated. This is not a minor tweak. This is a fundamental redesign of a core progression mechanic dropped on the community at the last possible moment. And the forums and socials reflect exactly that. Players are not happy. And on top of all of this, I have to be honest about something that is genuinely confusing me right now. How exactly do these changes apply to players doing their first or second expedition? For me, this is the third expedition, so I understand that this new damage-based system is replacing what I was used to. That part is clear enough. The problem is that the official information does not clearly specify whether this change applies to everyone across all expedition numbers, or whether it is exclusively a third expedition change. From what I can piece together, my understanding is that the damage requirement is now the system for everyone, regardless of whether this is your first, second, or third wipe. The damage challenge replaces stash value as the method for earning the 5 skill points across the board. The catch-up mechanic, however, is where things get genuinely complicated. Catch-up points, which are only relevant for players on their second or third expedition who missed skill points in a previous window, are still tied to stash value at 300,000 coins per skill point. So if you are catching up, you need to complete the damage challenge first to unlock the catch-up mechanic, and then separately meet the stash value requirement on top of that. 2 different systems running simultaneously for the same expedition window. And if you are a newer player trying to understand all of this for the first time, I genuinely do not blame you for being lost. Embark, a clearer breakdown of exactly who this applies to and how the 2 systems interact would go a long way right now. The community should not have to piece this together from forum posts and content creators. It should be front and center in the official announcement. So where does that leave us right now? Now, from a design perspective, I actually understand the reasoning behind this change. The wealth-based system encouraged hoarding. Players would accumulate resources passively and sit on them rather than actively engaging with the game. With player numbers dropping, Embark wants more active gameplay, more engagement, more people actually out on the Rust Belt doing things rather than managing their stash from Speranza. That logic makes sense. The problem is not the change itself. The problem is everything around how it was handled. A change of this significance needed to be communicated at the end of the second expedition, not 10 days before the third one opens. Players needed time to adjust, to shift their strategy, and to feel like they were informed participants in the process, rather than subjects of a last-minute decision. Even a simple announcement at the close of the previous expedition window, something along the lines of "we are looking at changes for next time," would have softened this considerably. And this brings me to a broader point about Embark and communication that I think is worth saying out loud. Embark is a studio that genuinely cares about this game. The update cadence, the roadmap, the responsiveness to certain community feedback, all of that is real and worth acknowledging. The free kit matchmaking bias, the UI improvements, the crafting overhaul, these are all signs of a team listening. The expedition change is not evidence of a team that does not care. It is evidence of a team that sometimes moves faster than its communication can keep up with. And that gap between decision and communication is where player trust gets eroded. What I would have liked to see is a hybrid approach for this transition. Keep the stash value threshold as an option for players already deep into their current cycle, while introducing the damage requirement as the primary system going forward from Expedition 4 onwards. That single decision would have preserved goodwill, acknowledged the work players had already put in, and still moved the game in the direction Embark clearly wants to go. Now, for those of you who are new to Arc Raiders or approaching your very first expedition, let me explain what the expedition actually is, because everything I have just described will make a lot more sense with the full picture. The expedition is one of the most significant systems in the game. It is a complete wipe of your character, your skill points, all your hard-earned blueprints, and your entire stash. Everything, basically deleted. And while that sounds brutal, the expedition is not purely a punishment. It comes with real rewards that cannot be obtained any other way. In order to start an expedition, a player has to deliver specific items and valuables towards the expedition progression project called the Caravan. Once enough items are delivered, an expedition window opens, and from that point you simply wait for the expedition day to arrive. On that day, your character is reset. The third expedition window opens on the 28th of April at 13:00 CEST, and you will have 5 days to sign up and complete the requirements. On the 4th of May, all players who have signed up will depart automatically. It is also worth noting that completing your caravan does not count as signing up. You still have to manually sign up during the 5-day window. Embark has also introduced a new last call feature for players who complete the caravan but miss the sign-up window. On your next login, you will receive a pop-up giving you one final chance to sign up, though no skill points will be granted through this option. Now, what do you actually get for doing the expedition? The permanent rewards include the patchwork outfit with new toggles for helmet, bandolier, and leg accessories, 2 new color variations in white, red, and black, green, a scrappy turban, and the expedition indicator icon, which upgrades with each expedition. On top of that, you get 12 additional stash spaces per expedition, which stack with each wipe. So if your current maximum stash without any expeditions is 280, completing your first expedition brings that to 292, your second to 304, and your third to 316. Then there are the consecutive buffs, and these are important to understand. Consecutive means that if you miss an expedition window, these buffs reset entirely. Right now, those buffs scale across 3 expeditions as follows. XP boost goes from 5% to 10% to 15%. Scrappy materials boost goes from 6% to 12% to 18%. And repair value increase goes from 60% to 70% to 80%. These are not small numbers, and losing them by missing a window is a significant setback. What Arc Raiders does brilliantly is give players who do not want to participate the option to simply skip it entirely. Other games, such as Tarkov, forced a complete reset on every player every 4 to 6 months, whether you liked it or not. This optional approach is something I believe is directly behind Arc Raiders having stronger player retention numbers than most games in the genre. So what should you actually do right now? If you have completed your caravan, sign up as soon as the window opens on April 28th. Do not wait. Focus on dealing damage throughout the 5-day window, and remember that any damage against any target counts. If you are on your second or third expedition and missed skill points previously, complete the damage challenge first to unlock the catch-up mechanic, which is still tied to stash value at 300,000 coins per skill point. And if you are close to finishing your high-gain antenna project, prioritize that now. It expires with the Riven Tides update at the end of April, and you do not want to lose that progression on top of everything else. My bottom line on all of this is straightforward. The change was required, the direction is correct, the timing and communication were not good enough, and the community deserved better than a 10-day notice on a 60-day system. So Raiders, I want to hear from you. Are you doing the third expedition? Do you agree with the move away from stash value towards damage-based progression? And do you think Embark handled this change fairly? Let me know in the comments. Every single response gets read. If you stayed with me until now, please consider liking and subscribing. It truly helps grow this channel. John Rader, out.